This one, brand spanking new on Tubi original. Like this is the weird thing. It's like I looked up Tubi originals just as like a search, and they brought up like a staple of their, their shark
Yeah.
movies, some of the other stuff that you mentioned, War of the Worlds. But then when I looked on our new releases, it showed us Tubi releases Hellblazers. That's because it was so gosh darn brand spanking new. Either that or their website was like all screwed up. But I
Well, it
think it
was
was just
funny. Is yeah,
they just added it. Yeah.
you told me about it. And I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was there. So yeah, you were ahead of the curve on this.
Okay, so this is another one of those satanic panic kind of movies. So this set in the 80s, satanic cult unleashes hell on earth. Well, basically they just unleash like one demon on there. So they do this incantation, and Billy Zane does this incantation, a bunch of guys in robes. And so they sacrifice somebody, and then out comes a demon out of this giant pit that they dug. And then so then the rest of it is like this small town. Basically, this new sheriff comes in, and then Bruce Dern is there. It's like the crazy like the crazy local guy with conspiracy theories and everything. And he's talking about basically like there's all these weird cult members in my property because he owns the graveyard there. And he's like, you guys got to come after him. He just starts spinning all this crazy stuff and how they're attacking the telephone lines and everything else. Just sounds like a total kook. But then the majority of the movie is actually spent fighting cult members, just kind of like thugging it out with them and not seeing the creature that comes out. And the creature, like when they show it, is actually kind of cool, except for the fact that like when it's like molting, when its horns are coming out and it's turning into a demon spawn, they have this effect like on the back of its head when the horns are popping through. I was like looking at the top of it and I was like, is that just chicken skin? Is that just like layers and flaps of chicken skin that are hanging across his head? They didn't go that low budget, did they? And I know my way in and around a chicken, both uncooked and fried. And that was chicken skin that they had on the top of that demon's head when the horns were coming out. I was like, that's so low budget. But it was very creature light. But when they did show it, totally transformed at the end, it was cool looking. And they got rid of the chicken skin. But it was a shame because this cast of the movie is great. Like John Kassir as the Crypt Keeper was there. Bruce Dern, of course, who's like total Hollywood royalty. Adrienne Barbeau from the John Carpenter movies, Meg Foster also from the John Carpenter movies,
And of
and then
course,
Tony Todd, of
yeah.
course, Candyman. He fights off some of the thugs. It sort of reminded me of The Void a little bit, like when they had all those thugs. And these thugs are trying to feed like the townspeople to the demons, so the townspeople have to fight them off. But it's like The Void, but if they didn't show us any of that cool Lovecraftian shit, if it was just like the thugs kind of like standing around, and they went like lower budget, and they're like, let's just pad out the story and have them like beat up these like cult thugs for a little bit in the robes. But it just kind of got like stale and repetitive to me. But it's a shame because the cast is fantastic.
It's the old bait and switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's watchable, but like it's one of those movies that you just kind of you see that like they're not really going to do anything new with it, and they're just going to kind of play out the same thing for a while until they show like the hell spawn at the end for a little bit, and then you get your finale, and then the movie's over. But
yeah, well, it's actually written and directed by Justin Lee, who did Badland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's pretty cool. He did a bunch of them. He's kind of in this space. He did Final Kill, Badland, A Reckoning. And will do. He's done so. Man, he pumps out movies. This guy, Hunters. Yeah, I'm trying to find. Oh, Hunters. That looks Asylum like.
Oh, I forgot.
Oh, he did. This very well might be because Ian Ziering has been in some of his other movies.
Okay.
I thought he might be old school studio owned by Asylum.
Yeah, it was promising, but then it just kind of seemed like it was a little bit lower effort than it should have been.
so are we saying that so far the Tubi originals are 0 for 2 or just like
not a total bust, but I mean I wouldn't watch it again, and kind of I got like I basically was just watched it for the cast, because there wasn't
Asylum. It was not Asylum officially.
Yeah, this is one of those movies that just seems like they kind of ran out of budget with pretty early on, So
that's awesome. There's like 4 different people on it, but I mean, it's firm. They're firmly these are low budget horror guys.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at some of the other stuff they produce. So I mean, to be honest, I have no idea how Tubi picks these films up, right? Like, and I'm assuming Tubi's not paying too much either for Tubi originals.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope all these guys have like agreements with them and we can see some more stuff. Like, hey, both of these though, like on one thing, it's like, all right, they didn't knock it out of the park. We're talking about the next, where we're giving it a 10 out of 10 and everyone's got to check it out. However, they both are B movies.
Yeah.
They both are low budget and they're both labeled Tubi original. So like, I think each of us sees this as a good positive start to what we're finding there. And hopefully with a little more digging, we can come back next week with a better report back from a Tubi original.
Yeah.
There's some other ones. I don't even know which one I'm going to do, but I was looking at some of the ones that were on there. It might be the shark one.
Yeah, there's a few shark options that we're seeing. Now Tubi original does not have any Sasquatch options that I've seen so far.
No, that's a shame.
Yeah.
But you don't know that you're not done with 2022 yet. That's my other take on 2022. This is the year of the Sasquatch.
Yeah, it's time to write a strongly worded letter to Tubi encouraging them to make Sasquatch content, or we will pull our free money out of their free advertising.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is the year of the B movie and as well the year of the Sasquatch.
Yes.
And all we can do is hope that they replace sharks as the. I still don't know why sharks are like. Do they? Like, I was even like Alicia Silverstone's in a new shark movie that had like actual real budget behind it. Like they're actually making real shark horror movies still. I can't remember what it was called. I was like, really, they just don't stop. Like, are sharks that? I guess sharks are terrifying when done right, but I mean, a Sasquatch is pretty terrifying.
Yeah, damn right, man. Or pretty hilarious.
Whichever way you want. Whichever way you want to go.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyhow, that's my we're not giving up hope on Tubi originals. Next week we're coming back, hopefully with two that rank higher than these two.
But, yeah, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that Tubi Originals does a deal with the makers of Suburban Sasquatch to give us a proper sequel.